Hello, guys. Welcome to our show. Good people, welcome. By the way, I don't want to discriminate. Bad people, welcome to our show as well. Anyone who want to learn more about programmatic advertising, welcome. You can learn today different methods, different approach how to get results. And I'm so excited to discuss this topic with Marc Poirier. How are you?
Very good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. Looking forward to learn more about that. And let me share my story. Interesting that I started my digital marketing journey 12 years ago. And at that time, I didn't consider buying persona. I didn't consider customer journey. I set up all marketing campaigns on Google Ads, Facebook myself because I paid for click 5-10 cents. Today it costs like $5-10, 100 times more. And I can't ignore this metrics. Mark, before we start, just tell more about yourself, experience, background, and why you pay attention to this important topic, programmatic advertising.
Okay. So I've been in working in digital advertising or digital marketing since a very long time. I started in 1997. Yes,
Before digital,
early
yeah.
days of building websites, but also at the time it was uh, a lot of SEO, like how to take advantage of opportunities with Alta Vista and the early search engines from a long, long time ago. Alta Vista, Yahoo, then Google came along and so on. But a long journey there. I started a company called Acquisio in 2003. Acquisio was a software platform to control budgets and bids and to automate a lot of the processes that are required to be successful with Google Ads. At the time, it was called Google AdWords and Microsoft Advertising, MSN Advertising, which then became Bing and Bing Ads. And so, I've been involved in trying to make media, like paid media, work for 20 years now.
Mhm.
So starting with paid search and then Facebook eventually and so on. That company, there was a software company, software as a service. We sold it in 2017 to web.com. So an American company that's focused on helping small and mid-sized companies with their digital marketing. They have a large number of smaller clients, and they were one of our customers. So anyway, we sold the business to them. I stayed for a couple of years, and then in 2019, at the end of 2019, I left the company, took a little break, and started an e-commerce. Oh, sorry, my computer died. Okay, you're still there. Sorry about that.
Mhm.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, I don't know why I did that. Yeah, started an e-commerce business, and at the end of 2020, I had an opportunity to start Clever with one of my friends from the industry, Vincent Potier, and we made a few phone calls, made sure that we had some customers, we had some potential employees to join, and really quickly we put the business together and got going. And so today, Clever Programmatic's it's a trading desk. Of course, it's focused on programmatic advertising only, and our customers are all mid-size agencies in the U.S. So they're
Mhm.
say less than 500 people. Some are smaller, like 10, 12 people also. What they have in common is they have an opportunity with some of their clients to get into programmatic advertising, which is higher up the funnel than the search work they're usually doing, and they need a partner to do the work. So that's where
Mhm.
we come in. We help them find success for their advertisers with programmatic.
Nice, nice. I love it. A good experience. And I don't know if we have the Alta Vista or not. Yahoo we have, still have. I don't know what will be because it's hard to compete with Google, but Bing, yeah, we'll see how Bing can do it, with this ChatGPT.
ChatGPT.
Uh, Yeah, Mark, I want to start from the basic question because some listeners don't know about programmatic advertising. Can you
Mhm.
explain what
Yeah.
kind of biz is this and any checklist points to understand how to use it?
Well, first, what is it, right? So, what is it? It's
Yeah.
uh, almost all advertising has become programmatic over the years. It started with, of course, search advertising, we know, but um, in the late 2010s, like 2010, 11, 12, you had display advertising become programmatic. So you're able to buy ad impressions one at a time using, data like audiences and of course remarketing. Then video, and I'm not necessarily sure if that's the exact order in which they came, but there's display first, online video, and it expanded. It got into audio advertising, so radio, like digital radio, and so Spotify, for example, is a good example of that. And excuse me, and a digital out of home. So now we're talking about billboards and uh, like television ads in gas stations and so on. Where my computer keeps going. I hope was I there the whole time? I have to ask.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I
Okay.
can hear. We had some technical problems right now. It's okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on.
Mhm.
And so yeah, that was one area, and then you have connected TV, which is one of the most important developments. Uh, Connected TV means television advertising, but that's purchased again one impression at a time based on audience data that we're able to procure.
Mhm.
And it's expanding into other fields as well. It's for example, in-game advertising. The metaverse, similar concepts. So this is a small but really fast-growing area of programmatic advertising that I think people need to pay attention to. Yeah.
You
And then
know,
and so that's what it
we,
is.
we,
That's so,
we
and it's
still
at the
have these
top.
technical errors because I can hear you, but
Oh
only
no.
part of your speeches. So yeah, sometimes I can hear, sometimes not. But let's try one more time. About about programmatic advertising because I think yeah, right now it's okay. Yeah, I see
It's
everything
better.
is back. So yeah, it's better. So
Okay, I think
yeah,
I know what I
let's
did.
one more time. I'll cut in my podcast.
Okay, so what is it? What is programmatic advertising? It's buying ad impressions. You used to buy them in bulk, right? You used to go, okay, I'm going to make a deal with this website or this ad network, and I'll give them, I don't know, $10,000, and I don't know really what I'm buying until the deal is over. Then I get my report, and I'm disappointed. And
Mhm.
now, I think some people know that you're able to buy impressions under complete control. You control how much money you want to deliver at what pace, what conditions to buy it, like what website, what audience segment. Is it like custom audiences, people that have been to my site, for example, that previous customers. There's a number of ways to target people now that never existed before. And so it started with display advertising. It evolved into also video advertising, online video. You have digital out of home, so the billboards and the TV stations, not TV stations, excuse me, but TV monitors and gas stations and convenience stores and doctors' offices and elevators and all connected displays. And then audio, Spotify advertising, for example, but there's podcast advertising even
Mhm.
is programmatic. So everything's programmatic now, like except for newspaper, I would say. Everything's yeah.
Yeah, got it. Can you tell how to create the right strategy? Because
Yeah.
I see when companies have limited resources, but they try to cover a lot. I mean, like Google Ads, SEO, social media marketing. For me, it's better with limited resources to pay attention to priorities, to choose one channel, two channels, but not all marketing channels.
Yeah.
So, can you tell how to create the right strategy for programmatic advertising?
Yeah. So of course it depends. So, like
Yeah.
if you're, let's say you're a local business, for example, like you sell to customers around you physically, like maybe a restaurant. Let's say you wanted to take advantage of opportunities with programmatic and you have a small budget. Then you need to focus at the bottom of the funnel because the programmatic shines where it's really different is in the ability to get into the hearts and minds of people, to create a brand, to create awareness and reach a lot of people. That's what you can do, and to scale your business. So once you're at a point where you're ready to scale, you can't avoid, I believe, programmatic advertising. But if you're smaller, and I would say, start with Google Ads or Facebook, depending on the type of service you have. And if you find that you want even more, but you don't have a much larger budget, you can use similar tactics that you're using inside of Facebook, for example. A lot of people use retargeting tactics inside of Facebook beyond just the reach. You can use that same strategy, but to reach people on other websites outside of Facebook and that are not
Mhm,
necessarily in the Google Display Network. So
mhm,
that's one area where it's relatively easy to do. And there are, for a very small budget, there are platforms like AdRoll and others that allow you to do that, to just do something real simple, just to apply a very small budget to only target people around your business, like a geo target, a very close proximity to your business. And then you can do things like, if you want to spend a little more time, you can do things like retarget people who have been to your store. For example, if somebody's been to your store, you may want to continue to be present in their life, so you can follow them on the internet, on YouTube, on connected TV, on like, depending on your ambition to create, because you have to have the creatives for that. You can't just do connected TV without having some good
mhm.
video ads to go. You need some content.
Yeah.
But yeah, so for a small budget, usually you would stick to the bottom of the funnel. So retargeting strategies, small budgets, small audiences. That's the way to go. If you're ready to start scaling, you can work on prospecting. So that means targeting people that look like they might be a good fit. But sorry, my screen keeps going out. So it means targeting people that look like they might be a good fit, but not because they've been to your site, not because you know them, but because they're close to your location, for example. And maybe because you have data that suggests that they like to go to quick service restaurants, to go to fast food restaurants, for example. So that's maybe a second stage where you can create local awareness to have a small audience, but play like the big boys, to have like a high frequency strategy, to show your ad more frequently to a lot of people that are, but they're in the vicinity of your store or of your restaurant. So that would be like a sort of a little bit. Hmm, it's a way to start attracting new people to your store without
Mhm.
spending a fortune. And then, of course, there's the if you're an online business, local doesn't matter anymore, right? It's not, you don't necessarily want people around you. I'd be just as happy to get customers in Europe or in Australia, or it doesn't matter, if the client. So in that situation, you still need to pick how you're going to reach
Mhm.
these people. And there are lots of different vendors. So when you use a platform like, it's called a demand side platform, a DSP, when you use almost any of them, you also gain access to third party data to help find specific audience segments. You can also use contextual advertising. So understanding what websites they're on. For example, you may say, I'm going to run ads on sports websites, for example, and I only want to be seen, 7 times over a period of 3 days. And then after that, I'm going to start bidding lower. So you can apply really smart strategies to attract audiences worldwide, but still keep control over your budget and still see some interesting results. But to be clear, like programmatic really shines when you go to the next stage and when you're trying to reach scale, and because there's infinite supply, there's so much. So and then there are so many ways to target the right people that but you need a proper budget. But you can run across all of these things, and you can start with maybe a connected TV campaign with billboards in local areas where you are present. You can run audio. You can run all of these things all at once. And there's ways to sort of use, for example, with a DSP like the Trade Desk, you're able to connect the dots across many of these different channels and follow your audience across the board in a really smart way.
I got it. Okay, you mentioned about right people, the right people. Can you tell how to find these right people, how to collect data before starting any marketing campaigns? Because, as I mentioned that, when I paid 5-10 cents per click, I didn't consider a lot of data because that was cheap. Today, it's impossible without finding the right people before marketing. So any tips how to do it?
Yeah. I think so first, you start with nothing. Let's say you don't even have CRM data. Let's say you have CRM data first. Let's get that out of the way. You have email lists. These are the first thing you want to use. Like if you have that information and that these are good prospects for you, we use technology. Not just Clever, like programmatic marketers will use technology like LiveRamp and other vendors like that to map these email addresses to people that are on the internet, to be able to identify them. And so then we can target those people specifically. And depending on, the quality of your list and so on, we can usually get pretty good match rates. The match rate is, am I able to find these emails like with certainty? And usually we can do pretty well. And then, you can start with that, because you already have them. In parallel to that, you want to drop a pixel on your website. Usually it's one pixel for the whole site, and then you can apply rules to create audiences. So let's say you're an e-commerce company. Not all visitors to your site are equal. Some people land on your blog. They're not the same as people who have abandoned their checkout, obviously. So you can create audiences based on where they are in their purchase decision. And you can apply strategies and bigger bids. You're able to pay a lot more probably for someone who abandoned checkout than for someone who visited the blog, for example. They're not at all worth the same thing. But you can create strategies for all of these things pretty quickly. If you have I would say 5 to 10,000 visitors per month, you can pretty quickly build an audience to get going. And then from there, once you just have your site visitors and so on, you can start addressing them, running campaigns for that. And you'll create repeat visits. People will start coming back again and again. So that's a really good way to start and to create your own. It's not, you don't own the data per se, but sort of. That's why it's called first party data. You have the ability to decide which of these audiences you're going to use and how you're going to use them, and they're only your audience because they visited your site before, or they took some kind of action within your site.
Yeah, love it. Okay, let's talk about testing and experiment. Because you can collect data, get the right data about your target audience, but in the end we need to test, how it works. So can you tell your methods how to test and change approaches, or probably even directions, to set up programmatic advertising?
Yeah. So testing with this is a little bit like testing anywhere else, but there are differences. In this case, not every campaign has the same objective. Like sometimes the objective is just brand awareness. So then what you're trying to find out is, did people who saw your ad, do they recognize you more? Do they remember your name versus people who did not? Is there a difference? So there are, different ways to do that. Usually it costs money because there's vendors that will do that for you. And it's, you'll see it often in YouTube where, before you see a video, you'll see a little questionnaire and say, hey, do you remember any of these brands? And they usually say any of these restaurants, for example, and then they show you some unusual names. And, some people answer that, and it gives a little bit of insight to the advertiser to learn whether or not the campaign they ran was able to shift people's perception or awareness, in this case, of their business. So that's one way to do it at a higher level. Then, if you're trying to drive traffic to your site, it's basic A/B tests. Usually, not multivariate. Probably just pick two flavors of the same creative and see which one wins, and then you apply statistical tests, and you don't. You can use your judgment also. Just after you've seen 1,000 clicks, it's probably enough, and then you can decide that one is generating more clicks than the other. And ultimately, it depends on the goal. Like if the goal is conversions, then it's going to be which strategy. It's probably not just a creative, but which strategy seems to be drawing in the most conversions, and you double down. But there's not one simple answer. There's many solutions. There's a lot of homemade solutions where people just do it on a spreadsheet, or even they just write down the numbers and they make a decision.
I agree. Okay, let's talk about creating content. We discussed how to learn customers, how to lead them to our website, but I see when websites create or try to sell a lot of products from a landing page, from a simple page, and it might confuse customers. For example, if I open apple.com, no, I can see only iPhone, nothing else. No, just iPhone. I can find MacBook, AirPod, Apple Watch. Of course I can, but in the first visible screen, I only see iPhone. That's it, because iPhone is responsible for 50% of all Apple sales. But I see when websites add a lot more items in the first visible screen, or try to sell a lot of products, but customers hate it. It can confuse what to do. Can you tell about simplicity in your landing page content? Because if we need to simplify experience, how to do it?
There's a couple main approaches there. One of them is it's applicable specifically in programmatic. It's called using DCO, so dynamic creative optimization. And the idea is to it's retargeting. It's a retargeting approach. It's pretty famous. You went to the site, you saw a specific pair of shoes or a specific model of iPhone. All of a sudden, that specific model is following you everywhere on the internet. So that's specific to programmatic. I mean, I know you can do it also in GDN and Facebook ads and so on, but it emerged in programmatic with companies like Criteo a long time ago. Yeah, so that's one way to do it, where if you can't decide, users told you their intent when they visited the site, they visited a product, so you can keep that information and then retarget that exact product to them in many different ways to try to get them back and to get them to complete a transaction. So that's one way.
Yeah, it's interesting. For example, when I analyze apple.com and amazon.com, I see two different approaches, because probably Apple knows that their audience don't need a lot of features, a lot of explanations about products. Amazon usually, shoppers on Amazon usually add a lot of data, features, descriptions, high quality pictures, reviews, a lot of data. can you tell how to find the balance between simplicity on apple.com and Amazon? Because if I open on Amazon any item, I don't need a blog post about this item. I don't need any other information. I get everything from one place. But if it works for Amazon, it doesn't mean that it works for everyone. So probably can you tell how to find the balance between simple as possible, like on Apple, and share a lot of information like on Amazon?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, like Amazon, when people go to Amazon, they're ready to buy. You don't go to Amazon to spend time to browse around for fun. You're going there because you want to spend money, and you probably know what you want, or you're just shopping. So they're a unique case. I would say almost Apple is similar too. By the way, why would you go to Apple? You're probably gonna either buy or research before you buy, but you're pretty down there, pretty down in the funnel. But in terms of, I think what you're getting to is the sticking to one message from the creative to the landing page to the checkout experience. Is that what you're saying? Like, what's the benefit of doing that, and how would you apply that in programmatic? Is that the sort of the question? Yeah. So that's really important. So that's why I was saying like DCO is one way to address that. It's a lazy way to do it. The other way is more just plain old marketing. Like which products drive the best margins for you. You need to decide what you're going to promote. And then the creative bit, we talked about testing before, very important. Like if you're going to be focusing on one product, I bet you there's a million ways to try to attract people to buy that product. How are you going to find out? You need to run some tests. You need to have small budgets. It could be as small as $100 or less, maybe. And just to try to determine first, like which ad is more engaging. Because you pick your product now, you're going to lead them to the specific product page. So you need to run these tests constantly and try to always find the best performing ad for that product. And then after that, the work is CRO work. Just when they're on your website, you need to try to optimize the shopping experience. I don't know if that answers no.
I think we can discuss about that for a long time. But I want to ask you about AI. It's hard to ignore this topic. Impossible tomorrow. And I had a conversation with Jeff Coyle, he's co-founder of Market Views, and he told me, in the future, we'll have 3 companies. The first company will develop AI, the second company will implement AI, and the third company will be obsolete, can leave the trade. So can you tell how to use AI in programmatic advertising and your methods of implementation AI today?
Okay, yeah. Well, today it's pretty simple. Today it's all bidding systems. It's using AI to determine what's the value of every ad impression and which one should we choose, and which one to cut out, like what placements are bad. It's widely used. So there's some of the Trade Desk has their own. It's quite good. COA is they have their own AI bid control and budget control tool. And then there's third parties like Scibids, who are very good as well, and but they cost it costs money. It's for larger advertisers, and that's AI. It's similar to what the Trade Desk would bring, but you can apply that to Google DV360 as well, not only the Trade Desk. And the idea is to control your which ads are going to get the money and how much they're going to get. So that's just par for the course today in programmatic. Like AI is part of everything that we do, and not just us. I suspect most experts would use AI all the time because it's built into platforms. Then what can we do? It's the past 3-4 months, I don't know, it's been a major point of inflection in the history of AI, with OpenAI's success with ChatGPT, DALL-E and all this stuff. We're somewhere else now. So everybody's like racing to see how can we, or can we, it doesn't even make sense to apply this in programmatic. Like in our case, we're thinking about using it for our operations. Like we have a lot of traders and so on. And how can we make their life easier when it's time to prepare proposals, for example? It's a lot of research that goes into doing that. And we're wondering, can we automate some of it using technology like Bard or ChatGPT? So we're playing with that. There's no breakthrough yet. It's just, we're playing with it. There's applications with creative, of course. I don't think we're quite there yet, but I can imagine a time when, you can simply give a really clear description of what you're selling, where you want the traffic to go to, what your objectives are, and so on, and to request at least a display ad. I can't imagine that would be too hard. And then down the road, video, I'm sure. I don't know. It's going so fast that I know there's already applications in video. So I think for creative, it's going to be a big deal. But I don't think my company is going to be, I don't think we're going to be a big player in these huge innovations because it's a massive investment and you'd be competing with Facebook and Google. And I don't want to do that. So I'm thinking of using, off the shelf, OpenAI type stuff, with our data. We have our own data. We also pay for analyst data and so on. So that's what we're looking at. How do we use generative AI to create value for our shareholders and our customers? Of course, it's kind of it goes together. And not that the big, huge bet is probably in the creative, right? And we'll see. I'm sure it's coming. So that's why I don't want to start investing millions of dollars into something where someone's putting $1 billion. There's no point. Yeah. But I think it's going to be huge, to be honest. I think, and I know Google's vision has been somewhat to ideally Google Ads, right? Like ideally they would like to make it so easy for advertisers to just say, here's my budget, just drive more sales. Here's my website, maybe, and that's it. That's the type of end goal that they have had for 15, 20 years. And we're getting close. If you follow like how Performance Max arrived and before that, all the bidding strategies that used AI, there's a lot going on. And the recommendations that they make, it's not always good. It's I know that, but it's, you can see how it's being applied and you can bet for sure. I think probably Facebook before Google will start automatically creating the creatives for you.
Yeah.
With AI. Yeah. Not just heuristics, but.
Yeah, we'll see. But, today, I think AI is not ready to become creative because most marketers complain that it's generic. So generic. And if you,
that's why I said what I said before. If you're like, I see that I see an image on the internet. I know is generated by AI. not a picture, to be honest. Maybe not but usually the things you see are very fantastic, very over the top. And you're like, okay, maybe it's because people are playing. I don't know. That's why we want to try things and see what can we do. But we're thinking more. We have to produce client reports and QBRs and proposals and things like that. And it's a lot of time to do a good job, and we're thinking AI can do some of the research for us, maybe start preparing some graphs and things like that. And then, we can go over it and sort of clean it up and maybe put the human touch. I think, honestly, I think humans and AI go together. Like I'm not seeing a world where robots control humans anytime soon. I think it's the opposite. We're in the driver's seat, and it's up to us. It's up to us to decide how we use it and the value we create.
We'll see. I don't know. For me, it's hard to predict the future. I tried to predict the stock prices, the crypto prices. I failed in most cases, and I got it no way.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, I can live to the destiny just to be better today, And yeah, but AI is developing, is evolution, so we need to consider AI. Doesn't matter it's creative or not creative. We can use it today and
Yeah.
to provide a manual job to make creative if it's not. Uh, okay, Mark, I have the question about common mistakes in programmatic advertising. What kind of mistakes can you see that marketers still do, and your
Oh, yeah.
tips how to avoid them?
Yeah, it's not search advertising and it's not Facebook advertising. So I think marketers have spent so many years um in these closed systems, and they understand how they work well. They understand Google Analytics really well, but all of that stuff's predicated on bottom of funnel, like advertising. People are searching for you and so on. So I could get this type of performance based on last click attribution in a search environment and high intent to buy, like all this stuff. It's a completely different world. In programmatic, I think the mistake is to stick to only that. To be only interested in last click performance of your creative, because a lot of what we do is TV and video and audio. There are no clicks. Even the display piece, it's a lot about getting in people's heads, and then
Yeah.
they come to the site after. They do a direct search, or the direct navigation. They search for you by brand, um, or or they don't. But
Mhm.
that's what you need to keep in mind. Is that you're trying to get in their heads, and then what happens when you're like a really well established brand in your specific thing? Let's say CRM systems in your HubSpot. They invested so much money in creating, or Salesforce. Everybody knows Salesforce. So when you're starting your business and you have salespeople, probably one of the first things you're going to Salesforce. I need Salesforce, or I need HubSpot, because you've heard it 1 million times.
Yeah.
Exactly. The names. They're immediately top of mind. Same thing. The same play that you think, I'm thirsty. I want a cola. You're thinking Coca-Cola or Pepsi. It's almost for sure.
Yeah.
And it's the same for a hamburger. You're hungry.
Mhm.
I want something quick. McDonald's or Burger King or whatever. That because they've invested for maybe 100 years. It's
Mhm.
become part of the culture. It's become part of people's minds, and that's the play with programmatic. It's not a bottom of
Mhm.
funnel media, even though you can do that. The big opportunity is not there at all. It's at the top. You need to fill
Mhm.
the funnel to drive demand.
Nice. Yeah, got it. Got it. Okay. I have customers who don't understand SEO. So if I see it, I usually tell them, take the course. No, we created the course. It costs like $10, $20 on Udemy, not a lot. But I found if customers understand SEO, then we usually get high ranking positions, high results, because we can create cohesive goals, clear vision, what kind of traffic we need, why we need to create high quality content. And uh, I cooperate with many great experts like Lily Ray, Mike Phillips, um, Chelsea Alves, Jeff Coyle, who helped me to create this course. And I give this course, just tell, please learn, understand the basic, then we can go ahead. But if they don't, I don't know how to help them, because
Yeah.
it's hard. It's really hard. Mark, I have the question to you. For example, let's imagine you didn't start in 1997. You started today, and you have the goal to set up programmatic advertising to get sales results. What will you do today to learn more about that?
To learn more about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good question. So there's like, I can tell you how we go about it. We have
Yeah.
our own training course, but it's internal. It's not it's not something we sell or give. But
Mhm.
we created our own course. We have a lot of really experienced traders here, and it's for us. Onboarding newer people, onboarding new traders requires that. So we built our own program. But I can tell you that platforms like the Trade Desk, even Centro, Basis, and others, have also built their own content, and a lot of it is available for free. They build it, they offer it as a thought leadership piece, just to position themselves there. So they'll educate you, and then the hope for them is that you become a customer. So there's those companies that provide that type of training. Is it good? Some of it is really good, for sure. I think the best application, though, is to follow the course, and also roll up your sleeves and apply a small budget, try something, launch a campaign, a small campaign. It doesn't matter. You can spend, with some platforms, you can spend $100 if you want, just to see what it's like, what the reports look like, and so on. But I think, there's a lot of resources available. The big names at Google obviously has a good program too. And I think there's one also on, and I can't name it. I can name I don't remember the name of the course, but some of our traders were taking a course on Udemy, I think, on Programmatic. So there's these sort of platforms, training platforms, that have courses about everything, about how to fix your pool and. But I don't have a specific program to recommend, but there's many out there.
Yeah, I agree. It's better to read reviews to find what actually works, because, for example, I didn't learn from courses. I usually use YouTube, Google.
Me too, by the way. Yeah, that's the first place I look.
I created the course because I asked my audience their best way of learning, and plus 56%. I don't remember exactly. Most people replied courses are the best way to learn. So that's why we created this course, but it's not my loving way. I love reading books, to learn human psychology, listen audio podcasts, read blog posts. It works for me better. Mark, and my final question about the future. It's hard to predict the future, but anyway, what kind of future will be in your according to your experience, in your point, and how we can adapt today to this possible future?
Well, I think it goes with society and how society is evolving. I think I know it may sound funny, but the metaverse, or whatever form it's going to take, whether it's just through, like today we see it through online gaming and through devices like virtual reality goggles and the Meta Quest, for example, things like that. I'm not saying that's the format, but the idea of a second life, if you remember. There's something else, there's and there are already opportunities there in programmatic. We're already experimenting with that. It's to run, like we're able to run, of course, these are awareness ads, all branding, but we can run ads inside of games like, I think you're familiar with Roblox probably, but that's one area, one place. It's a younger crowd, but also console games are coming. Both Microsoft and Sony have made big announcements at the end of last year, one after the other, that they're going to be offering in-game advertising for their console games. So that means when you're playing soccer or football or whatever, any sport or race cars, or there's always, like in real life. In real life, you go to a sporting event, there's ads everywhere. So the same will be true, and it'll be programmatic driven. So I'd say that's my tidbit about the future. That I can't predict, but it's already there, and people are investing behind it. So it should be interesting.
If I can predict, the first thing what I did, I think I can buy lottery ticket, to earn $1 billion.
Yes, exactly.
So, you don't need to predict something, just suggest. And
this is what I think, could happen.
Mark, it's a big pleasure to get in the show, to learn from you. Tell our audience the best way how to keep learning from you, how to reach out to you, how to follow you.
Right. So you'll find me on LinkedIn. So my name is Marc Poirier, MarcPoirier. You can write me, Mark at beclever.com, BEKLEVER.com. And on Twitter at Marc Poirier, MarcPoirier.
Okay, guys, you can find the links in the description below. Listen us on Apple, Google, Spotify. Thanks again for your time. Love it. So valuable. I'm going to listen again this episode to consume all these valuable points. Guys, I recommend to anyone to do it because you can see a lot of value. And follow Mark on Twitter and LinkedIn because you can become a much better marketer. Okay, guys, love you. See you.